is the gospel? A lot of people will define the gospel with 4 points: God, man, Christ response, where they look at God as the holy creator, humans are sinful, and then Jesus died on the cross. He lived, died, rose again for sinners, and the response meaning repentance and faith. I appreciate that framework, but I would be more specific in defining the gospel. I would actually say that God is the holy creator and humans are sinful is the bad news for us. And we wouldn't say the bad news is the good news. The gospel is the good news. So that's what makes the good news so good. The good news is only as good as the bad news is bad. So that's a necessary presupposition for the good news. But the good news itself, at its core, I think, is 2 statements. It's that Jesus lived, died, and rose again for sinners. And some stop there, but that's just the event. It's more than that. The good news comes in the second statement as well. God will save you if you turn and trust Jesus. If you don't have that, it's not good news. It's good news for you when you know that because of what Jesus did, because what God will do on the basis of what Jesus did, that's good news for me. So the act of turning and trusting is not the gospel. That's the response to the gospel. The Bible storyline of creation, fall, redemption, restoration is not the gospel. It's the necessary presupposition to the gospel. The gospel presupposes those things. Without that story, the gospel makes no sense. But at its core, the gospel is Jesus lived, died, rose again for sinners. God will save you if you turn and trust Jesus. So if you're a missionary to Cambodia and you go out there, no one knows the Bible, you've got to start with the storyline. You can't just announce that core statement and it makes sense. It's like if you're watching an episode of 24 and you call up somebody who's not watching that series and you say, hey, guess what? Jack just saved Renee's life. You know, what? Who's Jack? Who's Renee? What are you talking about? Why does this matter? I don't really know why this is an issue. You have to explain the storyline for that good news to make sense. So for the good news of the gospel to make sense, you need the storyline.